Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So today we're looking at another product from Thonet Vander. This is the SW10 or their subwoofer. This thing is absolutely insane to a level that I can't even begin to describe. We're going to take you through looking around the actual product itself, and then we'll give you kind of my thoughts at the end. But this thing can rattle your entire house, basically. Let's put it in simple terms. So looking at the very front of the actual sub itself, we've got the Thonet Vander branding that we've seen on all the previous products we've looked at. Has a lovely mesh grille that we've also seen. This is easily removable if you wanted to actually see the speaker itself that's contained behind it. Uses the same push tabs that we've seen on the other speakers that we've looked at, like the Kerbis and also the Lout. So taking that off will reveal the 10-inch subwoofer that's behind it. This is 100 watts of power. It also has a plethora of inputs that we're going to look at in a moment, but it offers the great deep, clear and unbeatable sound is what they say on their website, which I would totally agree with. This has got a frequency response from 30 Hz to 20 kHz, so that's very, very deep. Generally, headphones are 20 kHz, so that gives you a rough idea of what you could expect from this thing. It's absolutely bonkers. Now, looking at the back is where it gets a little bit more technical. We've got lots of different adjustments and options as well to get your tone exactly precise to how you want it. So looking at the very top, we've got our gain control. This is obviously going to be for the volume of the subwoofer itself. I generally have it at about 10 o'clock, which kind of represents kind of a third of the power that it can really go for. And then the frequency, I have the 180 Hz, so you get a more wide spectrum. You can dial it down as well if you wanted to get a more reduced frequency response. So if you wanted to go for just certain tones, maybe you have speakers that have got a lower depth of bass than something that I may have. You can also adjust that to your kind of preference. This also has an LED as well, which glows green when the subwoofer is on. And then alongside that, you've got the standby switch, which will turn your sub onto standby when it doesn't detect sound. When that is enabled, you do get a nice red LED as well to show you that. You've also got an option for a phase control as well, which you can reverse, which basically means your subwoofer will move in when your speakers move in, but this does a 180 on it, so it will move out when your speakers move in. It's a very personal thing depending on how you listen to music and what you're listening to, so that's all down to kind of your own personal hearing. Now further to the right of the subwoofer, we've got our low level input. This is for home devices such as smartphones, tablets, TVs, DVDs, semi-professional sound cards, which is what I'm using out of my PC. This is the output you're going to use for those. And then if you want to use a higher end product such as using AV devices like receivers, you're going to be using the high level input and output that's below with the single speaker cables. Now for me, where I use the Thonet Vander Kerbis BT as my desktop speakers, it was a simple connection from the PC into the input and then from the subwoofer output into the back of the speakers to get me set up. Just below that, we've got a bit of more information about the product itself, and then further down we've got the actual DC input. Simple figure of 8 cable that we've seen on the other products. This is all made out of the HDAA material, which is high density acoustic absorber. This is what we've seen in the previous speakers as well. It's a natural polymer that's a high density when it's been combined, which generates more rigid and dense material than MDF, which is used on standard speakers. This helps prevent vibration, leakage of sound, enabling a more accurate, efficient and sustainable performance. Now, unfortunately, I couldn't use the music that I actually tested the subwoofer with purely because it's copyrighted. But to give you an idea of how I found this while I turned it up for you to see just what it looks like when it is at full volume. The room vibrated to a point I thought things were going to fall off shelves. I couldn't have it up very loud for very long because things were going to be broken from the vibration. But it's a clear bass, it's not distorted, it's not a boy racer car that just purely vibrates. It does give you tonal difference rather than just making an absolute racket like cheaper subwoofers do. It's definitely something you want to get. If you've got speakers like the Kerbis we've seen before, definitely think about adding this to the setup. It makes it so much better, improves the sound by like 500%. It's absolute sound perfection adding this into it. So we'll put the links for this down in the description box below if you do want to check one out. Thank you for Thonet Vander for sending this out for me to review. If you enjoyed this video and you haven't already, please consider subscribing. I really appreciate all your support to the channel and help you bring to me. But as for now, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.